We acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 1 territory and that District 64 Toastmasters is located on the treaty territories and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Anishinaabeg, Dakota Oate, Desunalin, and Nahuatl nations.
Welcome to District 64 TV, a production of District 64 Toastmasters with help from Rogers TV. My name is Ralph McQueen and I will be your host for this episode. What we hope this program series will be your go-to place to learn about Toastmasters member experience. In District 64, there are so many dynamic events, anecdotes, and member experiences to show you how you could benefit in your professional skills development. Now, we are fortunate to have as our next guest Kacou Coffie, who is a recent immigrant to Manitoba and a fairly new Toastmasters. We thought it'd be interesting to hear from someone who does not have English as their first language, dealing with Toastmasters, a new home, and a new language and public speaking. Thank you for being our guest, Kacou.
Thank you.
To start with, how long have you been a member of a Toastmasters and what clubs are you part of?
I've been a Toastmaster member 3 years ago, and my club was PC Super Speakers.
As stated in the introduction, that you recently moved to Manitoba. When was that?
I arrived here in Manitoba on September 2019, and how was it? Cold.
Yeah.
Because my country the normal temperature is between 30 degrees, and when I arrived here it was 13 degrees.
Yeah.
It was too cold for me.
No, definitely. Yeah.
But it was a great experience, if I can go that way.
And how was your English when you came to Canada?
It was very basic. Good morning, how are you? I'm fine, my name is Kacou. That was my highest level at this moment.
And what has been some of your biggest challenges since moving?
My challenges, so first of all, it has been the climate. The weather is very different, more dry compared to the city where I come, more cold. And the language, because I speak French, when I arrived here, my English level was very, very low, very basic. So I have to learn English very quickly to adapt myself, to communicate with people. And the other one has been the culture shock too, because it's different cultures, so I have to learn how it works here. For example, in my country, eye contact is impolite, but here eye contact is respect. So I have to adapt myself. So it was a lot of changes that I was happy to learn something different. I've been happy to learn.
What made you join Toastmasters?
Toastmasters, the first reason why I've been looking to join Toastmasters was to improve my skills in English. I wanted to be more fluent. I wanted to be more confident while speaking English because I was ashamed to speak. So I wanted to develop these skills. That's why I first of all joined Toastmasters.
Yeah. Now, is it true that you sang in church?
Yes.
Did that help you in any way with coming to a new country and joining Toastmasters?
Yes, it helped me. For example, when I arrived here, I started to sing at church. And the community is incredible. Nice people, very welcoming, and they pushed me to speak because I was afraid about speaking English. So they pushed me to speak, and I met some bilingual people too, so they helped me with French, English. It made it easier. So singing, for example, with them has been a way to integrate easily because I arrived and I had a community.
What tips would you have for us English speakers when talking and helping you?
So something very helpful, for example, with the community. At the beginning, they started to speak to me very slowly, as I didn't have a good liver. So it very helped me to have a good listening, because when it's too fast, I sometimes don't understand anything. Even I know, but it's too fast, so I heard something else. So speaking slowly was good, and no judgment too, because they were not judging me. For example, you don't pronounce well. Actually, I was asking them if I don't pronounce something very well, tell me. But they were always nice. No, you're always good. You're always good. So I was not really, I didn't really enjoy when they were saying you are good, while I was thinking that I was not good. But with time, I figured out that this is how I got the courage to do more, because they have been there for me. They have been pushing me. Yes, you are good. Yes, you can do better. And I think this is how anyone can improve himself in any areas. When you have someone to support you, to encourage you, even you think that you don't have the level, when you have someone at your back, you can push your limits and do more than what you think that you could do.
Really want to push you because they elected you club president. How was that experience?
Oh, this is another push too. So to be the president, I was very afraid, because in my companies, in the club, we have English native speaker. So I was thinking that they deserve more compared to me, because this is the first language. And our club was not a French club, it was an English club. So when they wanted me as a president, I was like, why me? What will you learn from me? I'm learning from you. And after time, I figured out that being a leader is not only about the language, but it's about attitude too. Because they really appreciate my way to be, my way to approach them, my confidence, my way to encourage people. And I figured out that confidence, I can get it in different ways, and I can teach. Even I don't have a high level in English, but I can be confident, and I have knowledges that I can share. And I really appreciate that from them, because it also allows me to know that I don't have to give myself limits, and I have to try, even I think that I cannot.
Now, would you be able to share any successes you've had since joining Toastmasters?
Any successes? So one that I already said is confidence. Because being a president, I had responsibilities, and I need to reach my goals. So I started to review my way to act, my way to think about my own self. Because before I was giving myself limits. I cannot do that. I think that I will do that if next time. But when I became a president, I started to think differently. And being a president really helped me to work my confidence and tell myself that even I think that I cannot, I can actually to remove barriers. It really helped me, confidence, and also the language, because I started to read more, to communicate more with people, because I wanted my level to improve faster. And Toastmaster has been the path, because I have been speaking a lot. And for example, as I sing, I did an icebreaker, and I was talking about my experience as a singer.
Just before winding up in the last question, is there anything you'd like to add?
I am very happy to have this experience, because Toastmaster brought me here today again to build my confidence. And I will never have this experience if I didn't try, first of all, to join Toastmaster and see how far I good goal. So I'm very grateful and I'm happy for trying.
Well, thank you very much. We're certainly grateful to have you here, definitely.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being a guest here on this episode. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just like every other large international organization, Toastmasters has multiple levels of management. Not only does this help keep Toastmasters organized, but to give its members opportunities to develop skills at those levels. Each level comes with increasing challenges to help develop our members. It all begins in the club and its leadership roles. Several clubs are put into groupings called areas, each having an area leader to help maintain health of those clubs. Several areas form a division. Several divisions form a district. And as of this taping, District 64 leadership manages 65 Toastmasters clubs within 3 divisions. For this episode, we were fortunate to have, shall we say, middle management. A division director will share some of his experiences. Let's watch as our executive producer, Stephen Bryden, interviews division director Patrick Goodridge.
Is there anything that you can tell us about the role, the division director role?
Well, the division director role is a role when you look after upwards of 16 clubs in the division. By looking over them, you always support the area directors, because how it breaks down, there's 16 clubs, and if in the 16 clubs there's 4 areas, those 4 areas each have an area director, which are direct link to the club and then the district, and the district will then basically goes to the area director goes through me, which then goes right down to the district. So then I support the area directors by supporting areas that support the clubs.
Oh, that's really great to hear. And this year, I'm district director for District 64. I'm really grateful for you to be on my team this year, because you've done a really great job representing and helping support your area directors, and in turn, the club leaders, including Anishinaabe Toastmasters. Earlier today or this evening, we saw the induction of the new club officer leaders, because the new Toastmasters cycle starts July 1st and runs till July 30th the following year. So we're right at the end of the Toastmasters year going into the new one. Is there anything that you can tell us about the induction ceremony and maybe why that's important?
The induction ceremonies are always important because, well, one you always will do when the new members join, you induction ceremony for the new members. The reason for that is because when a member joined, it's a big deal. You want to celebrate that. Same thing goes to club officers, because you have Toastmasters who are taking their next step in their journey and being those leadership roles. So it's important that these are celebrated. That's why I'm always a big component of pushing that. Always do induction ceremonies for new officers, because it shows that, yes, this is a big deal what you're doing, because you take on a very big responsibility, which helps them take care of the club.
That's really great. These club officer roles, they have some accountabilities and some responsibilities. I really thought the induction ceremony was done really well today. And it's also, I guess, a form of celebration. You celebrate the outgoing leaders, but you're also celebrating the service of those new leaders coming in.
Yes. Yeah, because it's important that you recognize what the leaders did. In particular, if it's not a Toastmasters case, they got distinguished here. So now it's under the outgoing leaders' reign. So it's important that that's celebrated, and then also helps that the new officers coming in, they have something to continue from the start with when they start take over July 1st.
And for yourself, Patrick, is there any comments on, like, looking back on this past year as division director? Maybe any points that you can offer to highlight of things that you've enjoyed, or maybe some learnings, anything that you'd like to share?
One thing to look back is always learn how to delegate, because you have area directors and you're not only there to do your journey, but also to help them on their journey. So I've learned to always delegate a lot more. The biggest highlight was that we had a speech contest in person for the first time. When I joined Toastmasters back in 2019, it was just getting a point when they shut down. So we had no contest, and we finally did have contests. They're all online. This year was go from online, hybrid, in person at the club, but then past that was in person. So this year's the first test of my being division. The first year was doing the in-person, was organizing them, making sure that they ran smoothly. And that was with me and my 3 other division editors all to come together to figure that all out. And we all did a great job doing that.
It's really great. I think these roles, when you're in a formal leadership role like a division director and club officer, the Toastmasters world is kind of like the laboratory of learning. You learn through experience, through the act of service. When you think about the change, that pivot and change, all the speech contests were online because of the pandemic, but now policy has changed and now they're all in person. That's a big change to navigate as a leader. What were maybe some challenges and successes that you saw as a result of that change?
The biggest challenge was to find locations, because we had to, like I said, we in the other 3 divisions, we had to start going around to churches, libraries, we had a corporate club in there, finally use the corporate club spaces. So we had to scramble at times to figure out how to do them, which also balancing out when the members were available, when members can come, finding the judges. So there was a lot of that. One thing I learned, or say one thing from next year, is that we set the dates early. We go backwards. Like, this is something I kind of got I'm a big wrestling fan, and that's how I kind of got this from, because with wrestling, like with WWE, for example, they start their big event, WrestleMania first, and they go backwards. So I'm thinking this year, our big event, of course, is the annual conference, knowing that is. Then from there, division, we set those dates, then area, set those dates, and then clubs will know how to structure. So it should be January clubs, February area, then March the division, and then April into May is the annual conference. But if you have those dates set, then all the other members will know how to save the date and schedule themselves, and then it'll be almost smoother.
That sounds like a really great idea to try and strive for, and it's really great to have those aha moments as you experience the role that you can reflect on and say, oh, these are things that really worked well. We just knocked it out of the park, and here's some challenges that we overcame, and maybe these are some pearls of wisdom that you just shared in terms of making a work back plan to do it even better next time. Do you have any aspirations for the future?
Probably personal Toastmaster experience, to get the senior Toastmaster designation, to get that done. Another one is, of course, my home club, make sure to get the distinguished, and club coaching. Well, this year in the Toastmasters, the one thing I said I wanted to make sure that before I was done is to get them the charter string, which would be 20.
Yes.
So that's the next goal would be this term with the new execs. Hope we get them to 20 members, so that when we come in here, it's full of people online, people in the building. Then I told them, once that happens, then I'm done. Because at that time, they've got where they close I need to be, because I know that is possible to do that.
Be able to feel good to pass the torch.
Yeah.
And for the audience out there, the DTM, or Distinguished Toastmaster, that's the highest educational level that you can achieve within the Toastmasters program. And there's many facets in order to get your DTM. You have to go through 2 pathways, which is basically a set of speech projects, and there's other things that you have to do, like serving as a district leader and as a coach, and various things in order to gain that achievement. So it's really significant, and I believe that you're pretty close to achieving it. So I wish you the best of luck in that journey to achieve the Distinguished Toastmasters designation. And thank you so much, Patrick, for being here today and sharing a little bit about your experience as Division Director within the District 64 Toastmasters, and just a little bit what that experience entails and some learning outcomes. So thank you again for being here, Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are fortunate to have as our next guest the District 64 Toastmasters Club Coach Coordinator, Brenda Smith. Each season, the District 64 Director appoints one individual to be responsible for organizing, planning, and scheduling the roles of all club coaches within the district. To expand on this and more, please welcome Brenda Smith. Thank you for being our guest, Brenda.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
To start, how long have you been a Toastmaster, and for which clubs have you been part of?
I joined Toastmasters in the fall of 2012 after I had ear surgery. I had an incus implant, and after the surgery I found that I was having some trouble with my communication skills. And Toastmasters gave me that opportunity to redefine, hone my communication skills, and even develop some leadership skills. I belong currently to 2 clubs, Charleswood Toastmasters, as well as Comedy Club A.
Thank you. Now, could you briefly explain what a club coach does?
Absolutely, that's a great question. A club coach looks for Toastmasters who have some experience. You want to be a Toastmaster for at least a year, have completed a pathway level 2, and have been a club officer. That gives you some background and some experience of being a Toastmaster before you take on the role of being a club coach. A club coach is going to work with a club that's struggling and help them to rebuild their club, hopefully gain some new members, and make their meetings more interesting and more developed.
Does being a club coach take a lot of time and effort?
It does take some time. You certainly want to be at the club meetings, probably 75 to 80% of the time. So it's important that you're able to offer that evening or that daytime, whatever the time of that meeting. You don't have to be at all the meetings, but it really helps for you to be present, to assist in taking on a role, and to actually be able to observe what the club is doing and dialogue with the different members, with the executive, and assist them in maybe doing a little bit of brainstorming on what they could do to make their meetings more interesting.
And what would indicate that a club coach has been successful?
Well, there's a number of things that a club coach has to do to be successful. The biggest one is for you to receive credit, that club needs to be distinguished. And that can be a real challenge to get to that distinguished level. A club coach has 6 months to 2 years to assist that club in becoming distinguished. Even if that club doesn't achieve the distinguished, you are going to help that club to grow, and you personally are going to grow as well. So there are so many successes in helping that club to grow.
And have you personally been a club coach in the past?
I have. I've been a club coach now 4 times. Twice I have supported the club into being distinguished, and twice the club has come up short in being distinguished. Even though I didn't receive credit in those times, I developed some great relationships, some lifetime friends, and I learned so much that even though I didn't get credit, I'm still grateful for that experience.
When were you appointed the club coach coordinator, and how have you found that role?
I was appointed in July. The Toastmasters year is July 1 to June 30th. Mm-hmm. So this is my very first time being a club coach, a coordinator. And it is certainly a learning curve as to what my role is and how to carry out my role. And what was the other part of your question?
How have you found that role?
It's a very exciting role, and I'm actually very much enjoying it. It's an opportunity to work with Toastmasters and finding individuals who want to be a club coach, marrying a club coach to an appropriate club. It's a great challenge and a great role.
And what's the most rewarding role for you?
The most rewarding is to see the growth in Toastmasters. I love seeing individuals find personal growth, to have that opportunity to excel, build confidence, grow their self-esteem, develop leadership skills. There's so much that Toastmasters gives you. And it's just a chance to work with people and help Toastmasters.
And what's the biggest challenge in the role?
The biggest challenge really makes for great opportunities. the opportunity to find Toastmasters who are willing to be club coaches, the opportunity to find clubs that are struggling who want to take on a club coach and develop their meetings and their club into a thriving club. There's lots of challenges but there's so much opportunity. I just feel that there's a real chance here to develop District 64 and help us to thrive.
Now, is there any online resources that somebody can access for club coaches?
I'm really glad you brought that up because that is what's helped me the most. On the Toastmasters International website, you will be given a module, and it is on being a club coach. I have looked at that module so many times just to refine my skill set and to make sure I'm focused on meeting club needs. There's so much great information there, and it's really helpful. They've done a great job in providing resources.
Going a little different, putting on our fortune teller hats, if you could predict the future, what would you see a successful District 64 looking like?
I'm hoping people get out of Toastmasters what I have gotten out of Toastmasters. Because if people are feeling more confident, feeling higher levels of self-esteem, feeling like they're better communicators, taking on leadership roles, other people are going to join too. And if they're joining, then that means we have other people that are taking on leadership skills. It just becomes a domino effect. And I think there's real opportunity for individuals to develop their communication skills in a thriving, confident environment that's supportive, that's encouraging. It's just a great place to be.
Thank you. Now, before we wind up this interview, is there anything you'd like to say or add?
I'd just like to say how grateful I am for Toastmasters. And I personally wish I had joined Toastmasters much earlier in my career. I learned so much about how to run a meeting and how to organize a conference, how to run a fall rally. There's so many things to learn and so many opportunities that I didn't even realize existed there. So I personally wish I had taken advantage of those opportunities earlier, but even still, it's something that I'm going to continue to do because I love the fact I'm a lifelong learner.
Well, that sounds absolutely great. Thank you so much for being our guest this episode.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for this episode of District 64 TV. Be sure to tune in to future episodes. If you have an event or story idea, please contact us through our club website at tvsuperspeakers.toastmastersclub.org. Or if you just want to learn more about the Toastmasters program and how you can get engaged in a club near you, go to www.toastmasters.org and click on the Find a Club button. There you'll be able to type in your location and find a club near you. Don't wait. Make sure you find a club and join today.